SpacedOut Music.
It is me. It is I. I am the Space Cadet who are now tuned into the SpacedOut Podcast. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure you go like, subscribe, and all that. Today we have Pelayo in the building. I appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Going on?
How you doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm fucking amazing. I'm beyond amazing. I'm sitting here with you. Like, you are my top artist of all time. Like, you're phenomenal. Amazing. Your artwork is fucking bananas.
Thank you. Thank you.
Westside Gunn fucking brought you into the light for people of Buffalo, New York.
Yes, he did.
And, bro, just like, people are like, oh, it's just, some people are like, oh, he's just painting fucking a face over something, another piece of art. And I'm like, nah, y'all motherfucker, he's painting that whole entire fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a third eye. It's not just, it's like you, it's deeper than that. It's the culture, it's the fucking, the time it takes for you to fuck. How long was this one?
Well, I did this yesterday for the promo video. It probably took me an hour and change maybe, but I was just dialed in. I already knew what I was going to do. So
Yeah.
I just went straight into it. Yeah. And plus this was done in acrylic mostly. So the drying process is a lot faster than painting in oil. Like it typically would take a day at least to let it dry overnight and then finish the rest in the morning. So painting in acrylic has its perks. That was on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. It's not too bad.
No. Fucking
came out.
fire.
Yeah, this is a property of Inked now. So
Oh, shit is so top.
yeah.
Hey, what's going on, folks? It is me, it is I am him, it is Space Cadet, and I gotta stop the podcast real quick to talk to you guys about the Struggle Compound. Struggle Compound is located at 2400 Seneca Street, Suite number 5, right on the border of West Seneca and Buffalo. The Struggle Compound is a collective of multiple businesses who are all hustlers, entrepreneurs, and creatives. Struggle Compound is a recording studio, a barbershop, film and photography. Ladies, the Struggle Compound has you covered too, with exclusive extensions by Lele Jones and the Lace Effect. Also, if you need to get some clothes and right before you go out, come stop through. They got Buffalo's own Family Trappers, Struggle Clothing, and much more. And shout out to the new business Sleek that just stopped up in here. Come get you some sleek clothing today. And lastly, folks, you can stop here and come see the Spaced Out Podcast and Rev Room. If you're looking to get your podcast done, if you're looking to get some film photography, some drone work, Rev Room's got you covered.
Fortunately, I can't take it home.
What's the longest it took you to do a painting? Like, what's your longest? And which one was it?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't really, I guess I never really paid too much time or too much attention to the time that it's taking me to work on stuff. I think the piece that took me the longest time to say it was finished was probably my interpretation of the Mona Lisa that I painted in 2019. I worked on it for about a month, but that was because there was a lot of breaks in between. There was, moments of I got to go handle this, handle that. Didn't work on it for a few days. But if I work on something every day nonstop, I mean, I work pretty quickly just because I know my process and I don't really have to think about too much going into it. I just go into it. And I work long hours too. Sometimes I'll get up at 7, 8, 9, get breakfast and then go straight to work. And then, finish in the AM, 1, 2, 3, 4 in the morning sometimes. So it just really depends on how locked in I'm in the piece. Now, if Westside hits me up and he says, "Hey, I need 5 pieces by yesterday," then I'm working pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if I have a deadline. If I have a deadline, I'm gonna get it done.
And those are done in oil still?
Yeah, everything I do is done in oil painting. Only rare occasions do I ever work in acrylic. Yeah, that's what I'm left with. Or if
Yeah.
I'm doing murals or something like that, then typically it'll be done in acrylic or maybe live painting because it dries faster. So
Those you get me with those fucking time lapse ones.
yeah,
Those shit you can ask through. Those are my fucking favorite. I'm like time lapse videos like go stupid. Can you make me a time lapse video, bro? I need like fucking how Isaac's doing it some way somehow.
yeah, those are fun to do. I mean, I wish there was other pieces that I got on camera, but it's hard to be a cameraman when you're trying to be the painter.
Yeah.
I'm like going back and forth. I don't want to stop painting to move the camera angle, so, and I'm doing all that editing and afterwards. So sometimes it can get a little unmotivating to try to set up to do a video. I only get a few shots in the end, I'll take a couple in the beginning and then a couple in the end. I can't capture the whole process, but yeah, I mean, I wish I would have got time lapses of all the pieces that I did for Wes. That would have been dope documentation. But unfortunately, you know, gotta gotta just dial in and just take some pictures. At least we got photos,
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's a difficult age where you have to be the painter, the social media manager,
Mm,
fucking everything. You have to be everything for yourself.
yeah. I mean, in this day and age, I mean, some things are easy to handle. Some things are, harder to juggle. But I'm used to juggling 7, 8 things at once, so I can do that. I can play some of those hats to a certain degree. I can get the basics done. So that's cool. But obviously, yeah, sometimes when I'm doing stuff like bigger projects or you know it requires a team, and sometimes I'll bring a camera guy or whoever to do what for me, especially when I'm putting shows. Like doing a show, there's a lot that goes into it, and I've put shows together myself. But in this case, I'm doing it here at Inked NYC, so that's a big help because there's a whole team to help me organize it, put it together, hang, and do all that stuff. Yeah. When typically I'm doing that myself. Imagine that shit, the artist hanging their own work. That's a struggle. I need my beauty sleep. It's hard to look this beautiful and be the painter and hang the work. What do they got me doing over here? Come on.
And you were in the studio, I've heard too.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Last year I was in the studio quite a bit. I haven't put out any music in a while though. Hopefully I want to put out music this year because the stuff that I got in the vault is way crazier than anything I've done in the past. Yeah, it's like really fine tuned. It's definitely more um it's more curated to who I am as a person versus trying to make catchy shit. This is just me being me. It's more spoken word and poetry than it is trying to rap or trying to be lyric or trying to be catchy. It's more so just being an artist that I am on canvas and trying to translate that to sonic in a sonic form.
How do you like, have you ever written something while you were painting?
Mm, I've thought of bars while painting for sure. I've definitely thought of some lines mid painting that I write down, and then just so that I don't lose that idea or that thought or that concept. Sometimes I'll finish a painting, and then I'll put on. Typically, I listen to a lot of instrumentals when I'm working, and then if there's one instrumental that stands out, I'll finish the painting and then go back to that instrumental and pull the inspiration from the painting and write because I still got that fire left in me. So then I'll have some good lines to stay being in the state of mind. So it's like I'm still in that creative mode. I'm just changing the medium up a bit. because I do think a lot when I'm painting. So there's bars that pop in my head, and I'm like, damn, that's a good bar. Write that down. Sometimes my work is inspired by painting. Sometimes I write about what I'm painting. Sometimes I paint about what I write. So that's kind of, it goes hand in hand sometimes. Imagine if Wes was a painter.
I mean, kind of is with the way he dresses.
Yeah, I can see that. Or the way he curates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything. It's like he's artistic with like, but it's like, can he? Like, what if he really can't?
I'm sure he can.
Because he's like this jack of all trades type person. Like, what can't he?
Yeah, I'm sure he could do it. He's probably just doesn't want to, he's the fashion guy. He's the curator guy. He's the whole hub. He's not going to just start diving into something that he's just unfamiliar with. He knows good art, but that doesn't mean that he can necessarily paint something that he likes. He might have the vision or the idea, and he can plant that seed in someone else's mind who's got the motor skills to actually put that on canvas. The idea exists up here. It's just sometimes you need a person to be able to put it on canvas. That's what he got me for.
Yeah,
he can hit me up and be like, "Yo, I got this idea. Lay it down." So that's what I do.
What was your favorite one that you've done for him?
I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, obviously Benoit was a memorable piece to do because that's the catalyst. That's what started it all. But then Pray for Paris happened, and that really, transformed into something that I never would have expected. I mean, turned into this. So that caught me a lot of opportunities. It brought me a lot of attention, a lot of eyes, new collectors. I've seen the work all over the world. So that's a piece that definitely has acted as a diving board. And, I was able to use that as a catapult, if you will, to go on to bigger and better things.
When do you remember, like, when the love of art, painting first came for you? Like, that spark was like, oh, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been making art my whole life. Up until I was in college, I was making art solely in pencil on paper, drawings. And then when I got to college, I wanted to start painting. I'd seen some other students painting, and I wanted to get into it, but their art program, the school that I was going to, didn't have a great art program. So I dropped out cold turkey, and then I started painting myself, teaching myself. Painting for a whole year gave me, a fucking 4-year ride at the best university because, I got pretty good pretty fast, and then started painting like I do now. I got pretty good pretty quickly. In about a year's amount of time, I, picked it up pretty fast.
What about, like, so drawing was your first love of, like, art?
Well, drawing was the basis to my art passion. Drawing is the fundamentals to any art passion. I mean, whether you're a tattoo artist or an architect or a sculptor, you got to know how to draw. You can't do any of those things if you don't have the fundamentals down, and the fundamentals starts with drawing. So that was preparing me to do this. If I didn't know how to, utilize those fundamentals, I wouldn't be able to do this with paint. And that transcends into tattooing. It's gone into fashion design. It's gone into all these other different avenues. So, and they all use the basis of drawing. Drawing is not necessarily a passion, but it was just the groundwork to learn painting. Painting is my passion.
Yeah. Oh. And then, like you said, the fashion, like, turning into your fashion game is crazy.
Oh, thank you.
And then you have skateboards out there, and it's like, I want to find one, but they're fucking all gone. And then you go on fucking line, and they're fucking ridiculous resale values.
Yeah, especially the ones like anything I do with West. Those resale values are, I don't even.
I feel like anything now, it's becoming everything you do. Resale value for it. Like,
yeah, it's people are reselling a lot, but I think it's just because they see the growing momentum. They constantly, anytime Wes and I do a project together, or anytime a show happens or anything like that, it seems like whatever it is that we're doing gets a little bigger, and people pay attention to that. So they're trying to keep up with that momentum and, buying things and reselling. I mean, I try not to pay attention to it because obviously I'm not making any money off of those resales, but, it's interesting to see. It's interesting to be on the other end of the table of it because I'm watching my shit being resold online immediately after it sells for double, triple the price, which is crazy because I'm like, damn, that's nuts that y'all are paying that. That's $100 print. Now it's going for 500. The Pray for Paris print is going for 2,000.
Yeah, yeah, and you can't get it anywhere. Like that's the least it's gonna go for.
Oh yeah, for sure. People aren't gonna let any of those go for any cheaper than yeah, for sure.
And it's like, would you rather just say I'll hold on to this painting until someone gives me, or to this print till someone gives me $2K for it?
I mean,
for me, it's like, yo, why would I do that? I fucking had to fucking do everything just to get this.
Yeah. Well,
like, I mean, for me, it's like I'm fucking sitting there trying to like get it, and you get on the website and you have all these people who are on the website who don't give a fuck about anything but the resale value. And it's like, what about the people who want the shit? We're trying to get it too, so we can hang the shit up in our houses.
Right.
And we can have our pieces, because like I can't wait till the day that I'm like, yo, Isaac, can I get this fucking painting? Like, and you're like, yeah, it's this price, and I'm like, oh, no problem, here you go.
Yeah.
I can't wait. But prints, like, I'll buy them all day because it's an art piece still. Like, you're only giving what? We're like, how many went out of that? 200?
They vary.
100?
Yeah, they vary. Oh, you talking about Pray for Paris?
Yeah.
Pray for Paris specifically, there was 100 made. So
yeah,
100 or maybe 187. I'm not really sure when Westside started putting out the 187 runs out, but whatever it was sold out immediately. I mean, in milliseconds. And they're going for a lot. Yeah. But, a lot of people, there's a lot of bots. So, they're probably buying 4 or 5 at a time, keeping one, selling the others. So that's the problem with some of those situations.
Yeah, you're on there and you're like,
they're scavengers. Yeah. They're trying to make
you're sitting there with 4 people like, did anyone get it? Nah.
No. You gotta be
2.5
quicker on the trigger.
You gotta be quicker than that.
Yeah, you gotta be.
I'm like, yo,
yeah,
you need a supercomputer.
Yeah. Sometimes, yeah. There's a lot of those things that I didn't even get.
Yeah.
I mean, like even the T-shirts. I had to buy my own T-shirt from a resale store. I never got one. Cool. I got a lot of other stuff though. But yeah, that's the one I wanted the most. And someone called me up and they're like, yo, I'm at 2nd Street and someone's selling your shirt. And I pulled up and I bought it.
Yeah.
Luckily, it was my size. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy to see that stuff resell so quickly and for so much. Curious to see where it ends up in the next couple of years. See if it goes up anymore.
Yeah. What is your inspiration for all for what you do?
I mean, that comes from many different things. It comes from music. It comes from acting, modeling, tattooing, fashion. I mean, I get inspiration just from walking up the street to the liquor store. I think most of my inspiration comes from being aware of my surroundings, looking at everything around me, my environment, people, hearing the way people talk, hearing the way people, or seeing the way people dress, and traveling the world has definitely been one of the biggest inspirations. Seeing different cultures, hearing different languages, tasting different foods, smelling different smells. All those things, they trigger ideas that I wouldn't have been able to get otherwise, having not left LA, not getting out. I mean, look, I'm in New York and I've been inspired since I've been here. Seeing all these different things that I've never really seen before and thinking, oh, that would be really dope to paint about, because, I don't think we got that back in LA. So, pull a little bit of here, take it back home, and the ideas are marinating right now. But it's real. Inspiration comes from everywhere. I can't really pinpoint one source.
But
it's weather. I was just outside and it was hot and raining.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
That's some bullshit. What kind of shit is that?
We got out the car out the car, and it started fucking pouring, and I was like,
no. You know what? No, it definitely, we get rain, but like one day it'll be 96 and the next day it's 62. So it's like it's not hot and raining, it's just hot or cold. There's one or the other.
Yeah.
So that's what we get. Here is you get hot ass air and rain.
Yeah, I was in LA, it was just hot the whole time. just hot.
Yeah.
There was nothing but fucking heat, and I'm like, yo, this shit's fire though. I like it, but
Yeah.
the beaches, fuck no. Like, give me Florida beaches with Cali sun.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, California beaches are pretty bad right now, just with all the oil spills and the fucking homeless shit, and it's bad. Yeah.
And it's cold. The
Miami-
water's cold. I was like,
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
fuck.
yeah, it is pretty cold. For whatever reason, I don't know. I'm not a fucking
Yeah, nah, me neither.
geologist. I
Yeah.
can't. I don't know what's going on with the weather out there. I don't know what's going on with the water and all that shit. But yeah, Miami beaches are fire. They're definitely a lot warmer. Yeah.
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 The water-
Cuba beaches are the best beaches I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cuban beaches are where it's at. This shit is crystal clear for miles down into the water. Yeah, it's crazy. Cuba beaches and Hawaii beaches. Yeah, that's the best. That's
So
the
they
best
don't
water.
have like huge ass fucking buildings and bullshit all over the fucking place either.
Well, Cuba, Hawaii.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, they're still like busy places. They're touristy places, so there's still a lot of people. It's just if you don't want to be around that, you gotta go to like the countryside spots. Like you gotta go deep, way out in the cut, like to get away from all that. I went to Maui when I went to Hawaii, so it's a smaller island. It's all residential. The mainland or the main island, Hawaii, is really packed because that's where all the tourists are going, and it's the biggest island. So, but yeah, I definitely going to those places. I like going to the countryside spots where there aren't that many people. Yeah.
Hi, Lisa.
And for our next guest,
Welcome. Do you want to ask him anything? What? He's an artist. He does painting, and he can rap too, and he does fashion and tattooing. Are you tattooing today?
I'm not tattooing today. I finished yesterday. I am tapped out of tattooing.
Oh, you did
I am
tattoo. So you tattooed all day
completely-
yesterday?
Yeah, I'm done tattooing. I never want to see a machine for the rest of the year again, because he knows he knows how I feel. He's been tattooing all month. That's what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
The books? Yep, those are tattoo books. Let me see. Come here. Come here.
Yeah.
We'll sit here. And we're gonna finish. We're almost done, okay? I appreciate you behaving so I can finish this. All right.
I swear he looks like the Gerber baby with the hair. But I'm telling you, with curls you can do so much with curls. See, curls get girls. Am I right, girls? Am I right? Curls get girls.
Do girls get girls?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are braids. Okay, fair enough.
Hold on. No. All right. So we got one more question about the show today. So today you have the art show.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about the pieces and stuff that you have up there?
Yeah. So the show today, it's called Urban Symphony. It's a body of work that I've been developing over the last year. It is a body of work that represents my experiences growing up in LA and going around the world, seeing similarities in the urban landscape, seeing similarities in hood and street culture. It's about the juxtaposition of the poor class and the rich class, and how the rich and the poor coexist, and some of the things that I cherished and relic growing up in these urban areas. Little things like, it's about I'm trying to give think of a specific example. Like I have a piece that's about my dad. It's a rendered photo or rendered painting of a pair of huaraches, which are sandals that are popular in Mexico. And when my dad grew up in Mexico, he used to fix shoes as a kid, and those were one of the common shoes that he would fix. And so when he came back to the States as a young adult, he obviously was obsessed with American culture and loved Nikes, because all he'd ever had was huaraches and these really cheap ass handmade, fucking shoes in Mexico. He had a stockpile of Nikes in his closet growing up as when I was a kid. And so it was just interesting to see where he had come from and what I've seen, the person growing up with nothing and then being obsessed with this giant conglomerate company who doesn't even give a fuck about him. They just care about making a buck. And just this weird juxtaposition between growing up poor and we don't realize that these shoes are now they sit as a relic in time. There's something greater that signifies those shoes for us now. Those sandals just aren't sandals. Those are something that's very close to our heart. But you have to be living in those circumstances to really understand what those mean. It's like being in New York. Like if like a lot of people don't know shit about Metro cards. Like if you don't know nothing about no fucking Metro cards or loose chains or any of that shit, you're not going to really understand that culture, growing up with a certain level of income, being on food stamps, like I have another piece that's about cigarettes. It says Marlboro with some cherubs on it. My Grammy growing up was a chain smoker. And when you pay attention to people who indulge in certain things and the reasons why, poor people and people in low class, when they're stressed out and they're dealing with all these things due to financial grief and systemic grief, they're pouring all their money and time into these entities and these things that don't care about them, but they're conforming to it. That like they're buying cigarettes, and these fucking cigarette companies don't give a shit that these people are stressed out and broke, but they're fiending for $1 so they can go buy a cigarette to relieve their stress. So that's some of the things that I grew up witnessing, seeing my Grammy grow up poor and stressed out and chain smoking instead of, picking up a book and like trying to get out of the situation and like learning about some shit to reverse this, common cycle that you see all over the fucking world. It's also about identity. You go to areas like East LA and you see a little iglesia on the street. That's a church. And oftentimes you look inside and there's 5 to 10 people in there praying, old, Hispanic. And on the outside of the building is a building probably owned by, say, a Jewish community or something of that nature. And outside on the wall, there's usually a crude mural of Jesus Christ and the Virgin Mary. And on top of that, there's gang graffiti. And then you see the city trying to go over the gang graffiti, and then they're putting it, the graffiti guys or the street gangs are coming and putting the graffiti back on. And it's like this sense of identity. You have these people who own these buildings who are making all the money. You have this generation of people who are here praying, giving themselves to God, trying to hope for a better life. And you have this new generation who don't give a fuck about shit. They're just saying, hey, I'm going to put my fucking name in my barrio right here just to say, hey, I'm here, I exist, I'm somebody. So it's this weird juxtaposition and duality of man and the condition of what it is to be poor and what it is to be rich and just living in these urban areas. And you see the common similarities with all these different places, New York, Vegas, LA, I mean, all throughout the state and even out the country. I remember going to Italy and seeing graffiti on these 500-year-old churches. And it's like, dude, it's crazy, you know what I mean? But it's people fighting for a sense of identity and fighting for a sense of purpose and hope and wanting a better life and just saying, there's this weird tier. You have the people that own this shit, the people that are trying to conform to this shit, and the people that are revolting against this shit. So it's those are the show is, if you look, it's a wide spectrum of representations and ideas, but it's really visually, it's preserving and trying to capture the urban landscape and how over time these things kind of coalesce and come together, and they kind of come together in such a way that works well. You have these giant corporation advertisements or wordage, and then underneath there's some religious aspect to it or something that's very culturally relatable to our shit, and then you have the graffiti on top of it, and then you see the weathering and the decaying over time, and over time it changes, it takes on a new form, and so it's kind of preserving that or capturing that and telling a personal story at the same time. So that's what the work is about.
That's amazing. I'm excited to fucking go check it out.
Thank you.
And I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Interview, to sit down with you
for sure,
having us.
Of course.
and I'm excited for the future of Isaac Flynn.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Is there
Thank you
anything
guys
else
for
you'd like
coming.
to say before we get out of here?
If you're not here to see Urban Symphony at Inked NYC, I'm sorry, but you fucked up. You missed out. You're lost.
Hell yeah. Hey guys, I appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you go like, subscribe, do all that cool shit, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.
It's the Wiz. Skip that music.